problem that we've had, our offensive line, our coaching, Kevin Stefanski specifically, our special teams that were awful against the New York Jets, they came out and helped us lose this game today against the 49ers. Every problem of ours still exists. And I don't think...
A Browns insider just dropped a bombshell report that has everyone in Cleveland asking the same question. Is Kevin Stefanski the reason Shedeur Sanders lost to the 49ers? Joey Odon from Browns Report didn't hold back when he said our coaching, Kevin Stefanski specifically, is still one of Cleveland's biggest problems after the 26-8 disaster. But here's what has ownership insiders buzzing. Shedeur Sanders had 0 turnovers, a 93.6 passer rating, and looked better than Brock Purdy statistically, yet the Browns only scored 8 points. Special teams muffed punts, Harold Fannin fumbled on 4th down in Browns territory, and the offensive game plan was exposed by the 49ers. The evidence is piling up that this loss wasn't on number 12, it was on the coaching staff that's failed him. And when you look at what went wrong, you'll understand why Jimmy Haslam should be asking some serious questions about Kevin Stefanski's future in Cleveland.
So no, I don't blame Shedeur for the loss. I don't pin it on number 12. And I'm being honest and fair here, okay? Because you also had Harold Fannin Jr. on 4th and 1, fumbled the ball. Give it right to the Niners, and they cash in on the other end too. The Niners' touchdowns were set up by Browns fumbles for the most part. No turnovers for Shedeur, though.
Look, I'm going to be real with you right now. What we just witnessed wasn't Shedeur Sanders losing a football game. What we witnessed was Kevin Stefanski's coaching putting a rookie quarterback in an impossible position and then watching everything collapse around him. And the evidence is so clear that even Browns insiders are calling out Stefanski by name as one of the problems that cost Cleveland this game. Joey Odon, who covers the Browns day in and day out, who was live for the entire game wearing his Shedeur jersey, said something after this loss that should have Jimmy Haslam's full attention. He said, every problem that we've had, our offensive line, our coaching, Kevin Stefanski specifically, our special teams, they came out and helped us lose this game today. Kevin Stefanski specifically. That's not some random Twitter troll. That's not some angry fan overreacting. That's a credible Browns insider who watches every snap, every play, every decision, and he's telling you point blank that coaching is why the Browns lost this game. Not Shedeur. Coaching. Now let me lay out the case for you, because when you look at what actually happened in this game, it becomes crystal clear that Shedeur Sanders did his job. He protected the football, he made throws, he showed up. But everything around him, the things that are Kevin Stefanski's responsibility as head coach, completely fell apart. Let's start with the stats, because numbers don't lie. Shedeur Sanders went 16 of 25 for 149 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and a 93.6 passer rating. For a quarterback making his second career start in his first home game against a 49ers defense that's been dominant all season, those are solid numbers.
That we've had, our offensive line, our coaching, Kevin Stefanski specifically, our special teams that were awful against the New York Jets, they came out and helped us lose this game today against the 49ers. Every problem of ours still exists. And I don't think you can, like, is someone really going to tell me to go back to Gabriel right now?
You know what's crazy? Brock Purdy's stats were oddly similar, according to Joey Odon. Shedeur actually had better numbers than Purdy in some areas. But the 49ers scored 26 points and the Browns scored 8. So explain to me how that's the quarterback's fault. How is that on Shedeur Sanders when he's putting up comparable numbers to the opposing QB, but his team only scores 8 points? I'll tell you exactly how that happens. That happens when your coaching fails. That happens when your special teams is undisciplined. That happens when your offensive line can't protect. That happens when your play calling puts your team in bad situations. Joey Odon said it perfectly. The Cleveland Browns team all around on offense and special teams disgusted me today. You're undisciplined. Undisciplined, that's a coaching word. That's not the quarterback played bad word. That's the team wasn't properly prepared word. That's a coaching staff failed to get this team ready. Let me break down what actually cost the Browns this game, because when you see it laid out, you're going to understand why insiders believe Haslam should be looking at Stefanski with some serious questions. First, let's talk about special teams. Gage Larvidon muffed a punt that was recovered by the 49ers, and that turnover led directly to a San Francisco touchdown. Joey Odon said he looked like he fumbled 3 of them and recovered 2. Another one was recovered by the Niners, and that led to a 49ers touchdown. Now, who's responsible for special teams preparation? Who's responsible for making sure your returners are ready? Who's responsible for maybe not having a rookie fielding punts in crucial situations if he's not reliable? That's coaching. That's Kevin Stefanski's staff. That's on the head coach to make sure special teams doesn't lose you games.
If you don't muff that punt, if you don't fumble on 4th down in your own territory from Fannin. So I think you still rock with 12. I still think he's the better prospect. I still think there's better arm strength and mobility. And it wasn't a perfect game today by any means. No. But look where we are in the season now. I mean, that loss kills you pretty much. Let's see what our rookie can do. Let's see what the quarterback.
And this isn't even the first time this season. Joey specifically mentioned that special teams were awful against the New York Jets, and that's why we lost that game. So this is a pattern. This is Kevin Stefanski's coaching staff repeatedly failing to prepare the special teams unit, and it's costing the Browns wins. Second, let's talk about the Harold Fannin fumble. 4th and 1 in Browns territory. Kevin Stefanski calls a direct snap to the tight end. And what happens? Fannin fumbles the ball, gives it right to the 49ers, and they cash in with another touchdown. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. You have Shedeur Sanders, your quarterback, who's been protecting the football all day, who has 0 turnovers at this point in the game. You have Quinshon Judkins, your running back, who's been effective on the ground. And in a crucial 4th and 1 situation in your own territory, Kevin Stefanski decides to take the ball out of Shedeur's hands and run a gimmick play with a tight end taking a direct snap. And it fails miserably. Joy O'Donnell pointed out that the Niners' touchdowns were set up by Browns' fumbles for the most part. So you're telling me that San Francisco's scoring drives came off of Browns' mistakes, not because Shedeur was throwing interceptions, not because the offense couldn't move the ball, but because of coaching decisions and special teams failures. That's exactly what I'm telling you. And that's why insiders are saying this loss should fall on Stefanski's shoulders, not Shedeur's. Third, let's talk about what happened with Myles Garrett's sack. Joey described this moment perfectly, and it's the most frustrating part of this entire game. He said, Myles makes a massive play. That sack came in a crucial moment where Cleveland had a chance with a 1-score game. Myles makes the play to set us up, and what do? Muff the punt to set up the Niners for a touchdown.
And this is what frustrated me. Myles makes a massive play. That sack came at a crucial moment where Cleveland had a chance with a 1-score game. Myles makes the play to set us up. And what do? Muff the punt to set up the Niners for a touchdown. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I liked Gage Larvidon's camp. I liked him a lot. He's being fine as a receiver.
Do you understand how demoralizing that is? Your defense, which has been elite all season long, makes a clutch play to give your offense a chance. Myles Garrett, who's chasing the NFL single-season sack record, comes up with a massive sack at a crucial moment when Cleveland still had a chance to win this game. The defense does its job. And then special teams immediately gives the ball right back to San Francisco in prime field position, leading to another touchdown. Joey said, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That's coaching. That's preparation. That's discipline. And all of those things fall under Kevin Stefanski's responsibility as the head coach of this football team. Now, let's talk about the offensive line, because this is where it gets even more frustrating for Shedeur. Joey mentioned that Jack Conklin was ruled out, the starting right tackle. They were rotating Wyatt Teller in and out. The offensive line was an absolute mess. Joey said, the offensive line was an issue, folks. It has been all season long. All season long. So you're telling me that Kevin Stefanski and his offensive staff have had an entire season to figure out the offensive line, and it's still a problem? You're telling me that they're putting a rookie quarterback behind a line that can't protect him, and then expecting him to perform miracles? Shedeur took several sacks in this game, but Joey pointed out that they came later in the game, when the offensive line was not only not holding up, but you're in 3rd and longs and you've got to just try and make some sort of a play to stay in it. So these weren't Shedeur holding the ball too long or making bad decisions. These were situations where the offensive line failed, and Shedeur was put in impossible 3rd and long situations. And who's responsible for fixing the offensive line? Who's responsible for game planning around your personnel weaknesses? Who's responsible for putting your players in positions to succeed? Coaching. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach.
Spots on offense for Cleveland. Maybe one of the only ones of the season, folks, besides Fannin and hopefully Shedeur going forward. That's why you make sure you subscribe, because if he is the starter, I'll be here to tell you about it. And it was just a hard day for people all around. Miles got a sack, though, which is electric. He is on pace to break the NFL single-season sack record, folks. And this is what frustrated me. Miles makes a massive play. That sack came at a crucial moment where Cleveland...
Joey also mentioned that early in the first quarter, there was a 4th and 1 in 49ers territory where Judkins got stuffed. They were in Niners territory multiple times, not cashing in. So the offense was moving the ball. Shedeur was getting the team into scoring position, but they couldn't finish drives. Why? Because of coaching decisions, because of conservative play calling, because of an offensive line that can't execute in short yardage situations. All of those things circle back to coaching. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Joey said something that should make every Browns fan's blood boil. He said, every problem that we've had all season long remains true. I know we were hyped up about the win last Sunday, hyped up about Shedeur's first start to beat the Raiders, but every problem that we've had, our offensive line, our coaching, Kevin Stefanski specifically, our special teams that were awful against the New York Jets, they came out and helped us lose this game today against the 49ers. Every problem of ours still exists. Every problem still exists. So the win against the Raiders, that didn't fix anything. It just masked the underlying issues. And those issues are coaching, offensive line, and special teams. Not the quarterback, not Shedeur Sanders. Joey went on to say, I don't blame Shedeur for the loss. I don't pin it on number 12. And I'm being honest and fair here. He explicitly said he's not blaming the quarterback. He's pointing to everything around the quarterback as the problem. And then he asked the most important question. Is someone really going to tell me to go back to Gabriel right now? He said they saw 5 games of Dylan Gabriel and it looked disgusting. But this loss, it looked disgusting because of a combination of offensive line and special teams and fumbles and getting stuffed on 4th down.
Right mind got injured today. Shedeur had to come out for a play. Thankfully, he came right back in. Malik Collins got carted off. Huge loss for the Browns. He's having, quite honestly, a Pro Bowl caliber season is Malik Collins. And that was a blow. Shelby Harris went down for a bit. He came back in. Everybody, it seemed like. I mean, I was like, what field are we playing on right now? It's ridiculous. And so something to monitor for the rest of the week is how
the defense did its job. Myles Garrett got his sack. They created pressure. They forced 3rd downs. But when you're constantly giving up short fields because of special teams mistakes, when you're handing the ball to the opponent in your territory because of fumbles, when you're not scoring points because your offensive line can't block, how is the defense supposed to win the game by themselves? Joey made this point crystal clear. I think this game is much closer if you don't muff that punt, if you don't fumble on 4th down in your own territory from Fannin. Much closer. The game would have been winnable if not for coaching failures, special teams disasters, and personnel mistakes that have nothing to do with how Shedeur Sanders played quarterback. Now let's talk about what Shedeur actually did in this game. He threw a 34-yard touchdown strike to Harold Fannin Jr. before the end of the half. That's clutch. That's making plays when it matters. That's showing up in your first home start and delivering a scoring drive when your team needs it. He had 0 turnovers. 0. No interceptions, no fumbles lost. For a rookie quarterback making his second career start, that's exactly what you want to see. Protect the football, don't beat yourself, give your team a chance to win. And Joey acknowledged this when he said, no turnovers for Shedeur, though. He was emphasizing that while everyone else was making mistakes, special teams, fumbles, when Haslam watches this game film, when he sees the special teams disasters, when he sees the fumbles in Brown's territory, when he sees the offensive line failing to protect, when he sees the play calling that takes the ball out of his quarterback's hands on crucial fourth downs, what conclusion should he come to? Should he blame Shedeur Sanders, who had 0 turnovers and a 93.6 passer rating, or should he blame the coaching staff that repeatedly put the team in bad situations through poor preparation, poor discipline, and poor decision-making? The answer should be obvious, and insiders believe that Haslam is asking those exact questions right now, because when you invest in a rookie quarterback, when you draft him, when you finally give him a chance to start, when you see him protect the football and show flashes of what he can be, the last thing you want is to waste that investment because your coaching staff can't get the basics right. Joey said the offense was disgusting today, but not because of Shedeur. It was disgusting because of a combination of offensive line and special teams and fumbles and getting stuffed on fourth down. All coaching issues, all preparation issues, all things that fall under Kevin Stefanski's umbrella as head coach.